What I ate as a vegan in Chester, England. Chester is a 40-minute rail ride from Liverpool, located on the border with Wales. Chester is part of Cheshire County, which has just under 1 million people, but the city itself is much smaller. According to Happy Cow, there are 6 all-vegan and 2 vegetarian restaurants. We arrived in town later in the evening when most restaurants were closed, but we found a pizza restaurant with some labeled vegan options. Stile Napoletano is a subterranean restaurant with a few tables. I ordered the marinara pizza, which was simple but exactly what I needed after a long journey, with a nice savory sauce, oregano, basil, and a really robust garlic oil. The pizza came out quickly, hot and fresh straight from the oven. The crust was nice and chewy with lots of air bubbles and some char, just how I like it. The taste was 10 out of 10 and the price was a mere £8.50, which made it one of the cheaper dinners of the trip. I'll note that marinara pizzas did save the day on multiple occasions on the trip, and I'm thankful for the clear vegan labeling. The Jaunty Goat has 2 locations, one that's fully vegan and one that is just vegetarian. The vegetarian location clearly labels vegan. At the vegetarian location for breakfast, we ordered 2 toasts on sourdough bread, one an oyster and chestnut mushrooms with microgreens, and the other a pesto, cream cheese, and heirloom tomato. Both were very flavorful and fresh with generous black pepper for seasoning. The nut-based cream cheese tasted homemade, and the tomatoes were superb. The toasts were somewhat expensive, costing 9 and 9.5 pounds for a relatively small breakfast. At the vegan location, I tried the vegan chocolate croissant, which was absolute flaky perfection. I would say do not miss the baked goods. Even if you don't go for a meal, be sure to pick up a pastry for a snack at the Jaunty Goat. We went to Vegan House, an all-vegan food stall in the Central Food Hall. The food hall was extremely popular, and it was difficult to get a seat, but we managed to get a table outside, which was nicer anyway since the indoor was getting a little hot and the outdoors had a nice breeze. The menu at Vegan House is small and fast foody. I ordered the doner kebab with a side of fries. The meat, which I think was seitan, was really thinly shaved, so it had a very nice chewy, meaty texture inside the wrap. I did ask to hold the mayo, but there was plenty of flavor with the sriracha drizzle, and there was a bit of sweetness that I think was from the sriracha, but I'm not entirely sure. There was a good amount of veg in the wrap. The cabbage, which was prepared in a slaw way, was my favorite. Lettuce and tomato as well. It was topped with green onions and fried crispy onions, and the french fries were well seasoned and overall really nice. Shrub is a fancier all-vegan restaurant with a menu that features small bites. The atmosphere and service was great from start to finish. We ordered the potato terrine with a salsa verde and shallot cream. I had recently watched a Top Chef episode where the judges were blown away by a terrine, and I wanted to see what it was all about. I'm not sure if I have had one before, but this one I definitely appreciated the effort of all the layers. It is still the humble potato, but it's elevated to a smooth yet crispy texture with each forkful. We also got the Savoy cabbage with a gochujang vinaigrette and tahini. This cabbage was surprisingly prepared as deep fried, taking it almost to a point of char, but that brought out so much flavor, and it was very rich, with also the unexpected flavor of the creamy tahini. But the gochujang vinaigrette cut through and really sang, with a little spice and nice acidity. We also had the grilled asparagus with basil and tofu ricotta. This to me was the simplest of the dishes with the most familiar flavors, but I've been on a asparagus kick, and asparagus wasn't a popular feature on the menu, so when I saw it on a menu, I just had to have it. The asparagus was lovely, with some slight spice. I think there was chili flakes, and the tofu ricotta was definitely a flavor I've made before at home, and I loved that the cheese was tofu based and not nut based, which is so popular today, because the tofu brought a lightness to the meal that was necessary. And lastly was the pumpkin tortellini. The pasta dough was very clearly homemade. It was nicely al dente, definitely with a bite. The filling was pumpkin. There might have also been a little sage. The sauce, though, was incredible. It appears creamy, as you can see from the picture, but it was actually that color from miso paste. It was an actual miso white wine sauce. That is a pairing that I have not had, but something that I personally feel must be duplicated in my own kitchen because it was amazing. The meal was fantastic, but we were full and I was disappointed to not be able to order a dessert. But if I had, I would have definitely gone with the mint chocolate cheesecake. I definitely recommend Shrub if you're in Chester. For the last breakfast before departing Chester, we went to Fika, and we went the moment they opened, but I think in the first half hour or so, they don't offer their menu, just what's in the pastry case. So I got a pizza roll, which was nice. It had a little tomato flavor, but it was subtle, and also the croissant, which was just okay. I would like to return to try their famous vegan poached egg on toast or their beans on toast. On this particular occasion that we visited, it wasn't my favorite for the baked goods that we tried.